everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, and you're watching Glenda's Dragon's Den. Um, just wanted to say thank you to everyone who is joining us. Those that watch us later, and they share and they like and they subscribe. So thank you very much for that. The support is greatly appreciated, and just grateful for that. Also, want to take a moment to say happy early Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and also to all the fathers that act like moms too, right? Do we have a lot of dads that have step up and do the right thing? And congratulations on that. So, tonight we have a very special guest. She gracefully, and gratefully decided to join us here today. Susan, how are you?
Hi, Glenda. I am so amazing. Now that we are on together, we are live, we are hopping with energy. We're
Oh.
so excited.
And as you can feel, those that are watching right now or hearing us wherever, because even Spotify is, streaming this, you could feel our energy. We chatted a little bit before. We chatted through email, and you could just feel the energy going back and forth. So we're all charged up and excited. And so, Susan, tell us about yourself.
I would love to. Thank you so much. So I live in Florida now, but I'm originally from Massachusetts.
Okay.
So I'm a transplant from the north down here. And, life has been one interesting adventure after another. Well, yeah. So what do? I have the ability to go into your subconscious and I pull out the unconsciousness that you have in there, and your whole life changes.
Mm.
So I never really learned how to do it. I sort of just came in with this, and I've just been working with the angelic realm, and I have a galactic team and an indigenous team. And yeah, so all three teams and us, we get together, and that's how we're here, to support humanity on creating a different possibility, because a lot of what we've been taught as kids, isn't actually true. Yeah, so I'm creating a conscious education system.
Cool.
Be able to take our kids, and create a different possibility with them as well.
Good, good. Now, what happened to bring you to doing this out in the open? I mean, I know that you came into this lifetime being able to do it and all that, but how did the process go? Like, were you at first just shut down, didn't tell anybody, or were you telling your family? Just a little bit about that.
Yeah, so my mom's water broke on August 22nd, and I wasn't born till September 8th.
Wow.
Yeah, so my whole life, it's been one of these things about, oh, if anyone's gonna be late, it's gonna be Susan. Ha, 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 she was late to her birth.
Wow.
So my whole life, I was made wrong, right? So what does a teenager do, right? Like, what do we do growing up? Okay, then it's my time and it's Susan time. And of course, it was late because it was, I was late. And so
Right,
that was just projected on me. And
right.
well, it wasn't until I had moved to Florida, I was much older, when one of my angelic team members tapped me on the shoulder and said, do the math on that. So I got my calendar out, went through, and Glenda, that's 18 days.
Mm-hmm.
18 days.
I know. That's why I'm saying, wow, like what?
I was just stunned. I'm like, because when your water breaks now, like, you're getting a baby in 24 hours. Like, either you
Soon,
go into labor,
or
they're
they,
assisting it,
or they're helping you.
or you're getting a C-section, but you're getting a baby in the next 24 hours, right?
Right,
Like,
right,
that's the going rate. Well, in
right.
1968, I said to my dad, like, what did you guys do? He goes, well, I took your mom to the doctor. And I'm like, and what did he say? So this was the medical advice. Now, Massachusetts is very up. I mean, we got Harvard, we have Boston,
Right. Right.
Cambridge, yeah,
Yeah.
IT. So the best advice then was, look, every day when you get home from work, take your wife on a bumpy road. We'll get that baby out. So every day, like, doctor's orders, I would get in the car. He would take my mom on a bumpy road, right? Like, okay,
It's a
so
miracle you're even here.
we've come a long way from taking our pregnant moms on bumpy roads when their waters break. But all in all, like I was curious, so I started to
Right.
speak with doctors, and they're like, "Yeah, you shouldn't be here, and neither should your mom."
No,
So
no.
it became this miracle. I'm like, "Oh my God, body, like wow, like woo, you're a miracle, right? You're here."
Exactly.
And so I then, was so curious. I was like, "So what was I doing for 18 days? Like stuck in the canal upside down, all the blood running to my head. Like, wait, what was going on? Was I coming? Was I going? Was I disappearing? What was happening?" And so time stopped, Glenda, and I could see like every particle in the room, like vividly, and this lucid dream screen drops down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in heaven, for lack of a better word, and it's God
Right.
and higher source. And I'm arguing with source. I'm like, yeah, I know the rules up here. and, and I get to choose. And you know what? I'm tapping out. I'm not doing this. I'm not going. No, no. Pick somebody else. There has to be somebody else up here more qualified. Anybody? And Source says to me, "Susan, it has to be you." And I'm like, okay, if it has to be me, I'll go in 100 years. Like, give them a century. Earth will be a nicer place.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll decide to go, right? It's like, no, it has to be now. And I'm like, why? It started like a little kid. Like, why? Why does it have to be now? Why does it have to be me? And he opens his arms, Glenn. It was like as if he had taken these like bright lights and threw it. They were all twinkling in his arms. And he says, "Look here." So I look at him like, "Ooh, what are those?" He goes, "Those are all the souls waiting for you to get to Earth, for you to help them on their soul's evolution, which is why they incarnated."
Right.
So I was like, "Oh man."
Uh,
He's
I
like,
know. I know
he's
that
doing
guilt
the
trip.
guilt trip. Yeah, yeah. Like, okay. So I'm like, all right, I'll go. So I arrived. It's been game on ever since. Since my feet hit the earth, it sure has. So I came in without the veil. Like I was mission ready.
Right,
Kind
right.
of.
That I see. I came in and I know exactly from day one, so with full knowledge also. So when you're saying that you argue with divine creator God, whatever people want to call it, I was doing the exact same thing. I was like, no, 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 no. I don't want to go back. Really, I've had enough of that planet. It's beautiful, yes, beautiful vegetation, lakes, rivers, all that. But come on. And then my maternal great grandmother, uh, with her essence comes out and says, "You and I made a deal. That's why I went when I did." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, I don't remember." And
That's
she's
what
like,
you say.
"You remember?" I'm like, "Okay, okay, I remember, but I don't have to, guys." So I understand completely. Oh my god, that's so funny. It's like that's why we have such energy. So, especially when we're emailing, like I can feel the energy. It's like, wow. So after the shock of finding out you were in there that many days without any protective bouncy, Uh, how did anybody ever tell you how you actually survived? I mean,
No.
because usually, oh, they must have been moisturizing you every single day.
I have no idea, but that was 56 years ago. I
Well,
have no idea. I think the amniotic fluid was
right,
still being made,
right,
but it was just always coming out.
right, right,
Um, so I guess I was getting a shower every day. It would rain on me.
right.
We have
There you go.
purple rain. Yeah. So, so when I finally got here, right,
Mhm.
like I could see the unseen, hear the unheard, and knew the unknown. Well,
Right.
I don't know if it was just my family, but all of our relatives that have passed over,
Mhm.
our dead relatives, like we have one picture of them, and each of us had it in our household. So my mom had the same pictures that my grandmother had, the same pictures that my aunt had, the same pictures. There
Right,
was three homes. And so anytime we would get together for a holiday, we would all get together in one of those three locations.
right.
Well, when we would get together, we would talk about, oh, remember when Uncle Joe and so and this and that and all that kind of stuff. Well, our conversation, our love, our laughter would, encourage
Mhm.
their frequency, their consciousness to show up.
Mhm.
So they would come and they'd hang out by their pictures.
Mm.
So one year, I was young, I was at my aunt's house, and my great grandfather was having a come apart. He had like the top hat, the tails. He was snapping his pocket watch close, sticking it in his pocket, traipsing back and forth, pacing, stamping his cane down. So I just get off the couch. I went over. I'm like, Nani Josh, like, what's going on? He's like, where's Nana Betta? I go, your wife? He's like, yeah. Where is she? It's dinner time. Like we're supposed to have dinner. I can't find her. So I just lean back because because her picture is on the other side of the cabinet, and her picture's not there. It's her picture's gone, right? So I turn
Oh.
around and I'm like, oh, where's Nona Betta? And she said, oh, her picture fell and it's getting mended. And these are like heavy gold
Mhm.
antique frames. So
Right,
it's
right,
not like they can just go to Hobby Lobby and go, here's a little Elmer's glue. Like
right.
they're gonna have to take gold leaf, you know,
Mhm.
filigree and like
Right,
patch it up, right? Do the thing.
right.
So I said, oh, she's probably just with her picture. I go, just, you want to eat? Just come with us for dinner. So I turn around and my mother's like right there. She's like, what are you doing? Like, no, new Josh couldn't find none of it. So he's hungry. I just invited him to come have dinner with us. My mother's like, yeah, maybe you're not going to want to tell anybody about that. We were Catholic. And that was so not okay on so
No.
many levels. I just didn't get the memo until then. Yeah. So that was like the shutdown, like not okay kind of
No,
thing. And
exactly, exactly. No, and like in my family, they were very Christian, not Catholic, but Protestant. And my mother had gifts. They all came from her side of the family. And my father, you couldn't talk about that stuff. So my mother would say, you only come and talk to me about that. Shh. And I'm like, what? Nobody could see archangels? What's up with them? Uh,
yes,
I hear you. I hear you. So now Massachusetts, it's strangely enough, you would think that that would be a little bit more open, but it was back then. So it's a little different. But we're like, you
it
know,
was interesting.
yeah, and for the Catholic religion, everybody had a place where all the dead relatives would have a picture.
Yeah.
Just like in Protestants, they would call it a table, or whatever they wanted to call it, but it could have been a mantle, it could be just a plain table where all the dead relatives were there, and every holiday they would light white candles, and you're like, why are you even doing that if you don't believe that they're like, so it never made sense to me, but I was like, okay, I'll just play along.
Like this is what we do. This is how
Yeah,
we do it. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're not supposed to do.
right, right.
Yeah.
And not talk about things and all
Yeah.
that other stuff.
It just Catholicism never made sense to me. Like I remember they had us go into, we had to do confession in person with
Hmm.
our priest before we could get confirmed at 18.
Right.
And I remember, and they separated us all in the pews. Like we all had to be in different places so we couldn't talk to each other. And I remember somehow my cousin slid over because we were the same age, slid over and he's like, "What are you going to say? Like, what are you going to confess to?" I'm like,
Right.
"I don't know. What do you got?" And, because we didn't steal, we didn't lie, we didn't cheat.
No.
Like, there was nothing I could think of that
Right.
I needed to repent, right? But
Right.
they were making like we had to sin somehow. So I'm sitting there going, "Okay, maybe I said the Lord's name in vain." Yeah. God damn it. Yep, that'll work. Okay.
Right.
Like,
I went to Catholic school from elementary on through high school, so I know exactly. And you're like there, like, oh, okay.
so I just started making stuff up. I'm like, "Oh, maybe I cheated on a quiz," or, I was just like, "Oh, I'm going for the list now. I didn't obey my parents. I ate meat on a Friday." Like I didn't give anything up in Lent. I had a lot. Right? I went in there and I just like laid it out for him, and then
Right.
I got punished. So then it was you're going to need to do 5 Our Fathers, 7 Hail Marys, and 3 full rosaries. And then, my child, I will see you on Sunday. Okay, I got my work cut out for me over the weekend. I know where I'm going to be. And and I don't judge any religion because
No, no,
they're amazing. And like
no.
modalities are amazing because everything resonates at a certain frequency.
Right.
And
Exactly.
so like attracts like. So at that point in time, like that's where my level of consciousness, my frequency was. And then
Exactly.
that's where I showed up. So
And it's a great foundation for the love, unconditional love, for understanding, empathy, and all that other stuff that now you resonate with at a higher frequency. So I don't I believe all religions, all roads lead to the same place, which is love. We come from love, we go back to love. That's it. So it's the stuff that we got to do as children is amazing. So you're you're 18 years old now,
and I'm lying to the priest
and you're lying to the
and
priest.
I'm lying to you. Like, let me not leave that out. P.S. I'm lying to you. So I'm definitely going to hell now. Like there is no get out of jail free card for this girl. She is going down.
And of course they put so much stress on you that you had to invent things,
Yes.
even if you didn't have. Even if you just went in there and said, well, I'm not sure if I sinned or not, but I just like the general forgiveness. And no, you have to like come up with something specific.
Yes.
And I'm like, uh, let's see, every teenager, wow, you do so many things. You just even say, oh, I hate my mother, just because your hormones, not even. So yeah, yeah. So now we get past that, and
Now
wow,
we passed the trauma. Now we're on the other side of
the,
the trauma.
drama, which probably made you ricochet out of there anyway. That's probably what started it.
Well, there was just so much stuff like, how can a breeze like who can't be in a relationship, who can't get married, who has no concept of what that's like actually preach to people who are going to get married and people who are married. Like he has no experience.
Exactly.
And then everything came out about the choir boys and
Hmm.
the the kids, and it was just horrifying.
Right, right, and that's a whole other
All
mess,
the boys.
chaos.
Yeah.
Um, but in reality, the fact that they cannot get married, I mean, come on, that it's humans are made to be with someone, to have someone, even if they're, let's not say marriage or anything like that, but even just to share time with them, go out somewhere, share their experiences, have some type of bonding, and
Yeah.
yeah, some type of anything, and they're not allowed to, and that just sets the stage for a lot of stuff. So some will hold their vows forever and be true to whatever it is. Some not so much, obviously. So it's
And, we're
it's
all
human.
divinely guided. Like,
Yeah,
I picked my parents,
right.
and I know my son picked me, and my parents picked their parents, so we all, like, have a say before we got here in
Hmm.
what we were gonna experience with it. So that was all part of my learning, my soul's journey.
Right. And the fact, like you had to teach your parents things, right? And your son had to teach you things, how to train you, how to, and all that stuff. And you're like, no, I'm the parent. No, you're just the parent by name. They're the ones that take over.
I'll share something with you. So, the my husband, my son's father,
Right.
he left before my son turned 2,
Mhm.
and because it was, like, "Till death do you part," and in sickness and in health and the whole Catholicism thing, like, we
Right.
were made wrong on both sides.
Right.
But it wasn't until I started to step into asking a question that I go, "What was right about that I was not getting?" And it was like, I'm like, I could parent the way we truly had always, like, loved and was excited about parenting, and I wouldn't have been able to do that with him in our lives.
Right.
And so by him just leaving, it was great because it was like this cut and go, and he knows how grateful I am and thankful I am that it was just, that easy and it wasn't a prolonged, lengthy kind of a thing.
Right.
And, I'll tell you my son, so I used to teach 1st grade. So, of course, as a parent and a teacher, like, I know how homework is supposed to be done,
Right.
right? If anyone knows, it's me.
Right.
Yeah. So, your feet are on the floor, your paper's at a 45-degree angle, you've got your drink, it's good lighting, you're not hungry, and ready, set, go.
Right.
So, I leave the kitchen, my son's doing his homework, I come back out of the kitchen, he's on the couch upside down with his head hanging off and the book, like, over his head, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm doing my homework," and I'm like, "No, you're not, you're goofing around, get back here." Right? So we were going back and forth with, like, how you do homework,
Right.
and
Yep.
then it was one day this was back when we still used to get the Sunday newspapers, do you remember that?
Oh God, yes, yes.
So we would get the Sunday newspaper. So I'm there and I'm, reading my Sunday newspaper, and he's sitting on the other end of the couch, and he's got his book open. He's doing math problems,
Uh-huh.
and he's watching TV. And his dad calls. And do you remember the phones that had like cradles? They had to charge.
Right.
Picks up the phone. He answers the phone. He's like, "Hey, Dad." So I'm watching him talk to his father, do math problems, and look up every now and then and watch the TV, and I thought, "No way. There is no way." So he gets off the phone, and I was like, "So, hey, what were you and your dad talking about?" He goes, "Oh, we're talking about where we're gonna go fishing, and this is what I need to bring when I pack up to go there." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I'm like, "Well, what are you watching on TV?" He said, "Oh, I've got this thing watching." I go, "What's going on TV?" And he got it. Bam, 100% knew what was happening, cognitively
Right.
thinking, and I was like, "Let me see your math book." Hold up. He was getting the answers right. He could do things outside of, like, what I believed
Right.
was how you learned and how
Right.
you did things, like how I
And
was taught. And now he has 4 video screens in front of him, and he has music playing, a movie playing, he's working on something, he's got the Discord, feed going on with his friends. I'm like, but yet when we're in
they
a
taught us multitask.
yeah, like, so what if our kids know more about what works for them than we do? I'm like, we
Exactly.
may be older,
Yep.
but we are not necessarily wiser. And it's like
No.
our kids know.
Yes. And they have come into the world of technology,
Yes.
and that's it. And we all make that those steps that, oh no, it's too early for this, too young for this, to and you just can't. They go to the store and they're working those things, and you're like, well, maybe they're not that young. How do you even know how to do that? I have to sit there and then still ask questions, videos, all that stuff, and they're just like, oh, it's done this, and you didn't even read. You didn't even like. That's why that's a good example of how we taught our parents and they teach us, and so on, so on. Every single generation teaches the generation before them. It's that's really what it's. One of the reasons we came here is to uh, facilitate the learning for the older folks. So,
Well, I'll tell you, Glenda, he is like one amazing cookie. Let me tell you, he has got his own set of superpowers that just, yeah, they are parallel. Let me tell you.
I know, I have three children and one stepson, so I know. It's beyond.
Yes.
So, so he teaches you things. So when did you finally decide that, maybe I should start doing this as to bring healing in a greater level, not just, for my friends or those people that I meet or whatever, but, into let's just say, for just a verbiage sake, a business.
Yeah, so I don't know if I ever decided it. It was sort of like, "Oh, hey, why don't you come here and we'll do this," kind of a thing.
Hmm.
Like, "We'll do this live stream and it's for a nonprofit and we'll, do it for our members." And I was like, "Oh, okay, let's see what that's gonna look like." No
Right.
idea. And people were shifting instantly, and changing dramatically, like, right in front of us, and it was like, wow. Okay. Well, who else would like to volunteer? Like, person would volunteer, come up and go, okay, what's your biggest problem? And then they share it. And so when I'm with someone, Glenda, they show me their lifeline this way.
Hmm.
I can see all the way back to what they chose to be or do the very first time they stepped out of source. And
Right.
then all the way up till now, and even what's projected to be in their future lifetimes. And then their ancestors show up this way. And
Hmm.
so 15 to 20 generations, they show me what they've been passing down. And then that being has it.
Hold on. I want to go to the 20th up there and go, "Get what's wrong with you?"
Sometimes it's them. It's them that started it.
Yeah.
And they're part creator of the limitation.
Right.
And they donated it to humanity. It's just like, oh yeah, this is a good one. Here, you try this one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure they could handle the puzzle.
Exactly. And then their karma, like a tornado, spins
Hmm.
like this. Around them. So it's a lot of fun to just like dive in, go deep, and people go, "Well, that just happened to me today." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'm in your reality." They're like, I just got that call from my friend of for 24 years ago, and I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm in your reality." Like, I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'm in there.
I'm
I'm
in
in."
there. What's wrong with you? You forgot?
They're like, because it's like, what I do is like, there's no words. You, when I'm working with the energy, like
Right.
there's no words for like what we're doing. But the work we do runs 24/7, and people shift out of any other frequency other than like love and gratefulness, which is
Hmm.
the highest emotional frequency, gratefulness, thankfulness, just below God's consciousness on the emotion chart.
Hmm.
And no one taught us this stuff. That's just that's why it's so important for the children to have a conscious education,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to know the truth about things.
Right.
Because from day one, our first language wasn't the one we were taught at home. Our first language is energy.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how babies like look at a wall and they're like start laughing and giggling, or like an animal will be staring at something and you're like,
Right.
what are you looking at? There is nothing there. Well, what happened was you got indoctrinated that this frequency is red.
Right.
This frequency is black. Repetition, repetition, repetition created the neural pathways. So then once you saw that, you didn't see the frequency any longer, you just saw the color.
Right. Right.
But babies and
Yeah.
animals,
Animals.
they see the frequency.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know about the colors.
Right.
So when we grew up, do you remember that large crayon box, Glenda, we had?
Yes.
It had like this sharpener in the back.
And they're back 64. Was it 64 or 128? I can't remember. But I know there was a lot.
Yeah, it was big. It was huge. And that was like the Christmas present of all Christmas presents.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
You had the crayon box. And then they were all sharpened. They were all ready to go. And like you were afraid to let anyone try to use them because someone would break them or wear them down.
Yeah.
So what you were taught was like, those are the colors.
Mm-hmm.
And anything that's not in the crayon box is not a color.
Right.
So you can't see it. It's invisible. It doesn't exist.
Mhm.
Therefore, yeah, you see how we got locked in?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. We get boxed in, and people just don't even attempt to open the door to get out of that box. So
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You know, when we start working together, like they have these aha moments. They're like, that makes so much sense. Like, oh yeah.
mhm.
Source gives me a way to explain it to them that actually empowers them
Right.
without judgment or separation or calculation or decision or anything.
Right.
And they're able to take that and then use that as a tool moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes everything for people.
Yes. Yes. You know, the world does not understand how blessed they are to be here at this very moment, because we're finally opening up that remembrance, right? We're properly gearing up the frequency so everything starts blooming and flourishing, and all of a sudden it's like, and there's always, when the person is ready, the master appears. And I'm a big believer in that. That's why, people say, oh, this, that, or that. I said, when it's the right time, that person that I'm supposed to work with will be right there. I don't stress over it because maybe it's not the right time for them.
Yeah, ask and ye shall receive.
Right, right.
So like attracts like here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're attracting that which we are.
Exactly, exactly. So now you started that way, and then how long before you actually did the inner, did the whole bigger thing? Did you decide to just go on tours or just do it online or?
Well, I did everyone told me to do.
Okay.
I was a good little student. So it was like, you need to be an author. So
Okay.
you should write a book.
Okay.
So I got with a publisher out of California, and she knew a lot of us women that were in energy work. And so
Right.
because she was a publisher, she would come up with a theme for a book, like a book title.
Right.
So like there's one on judgment, one on spirit, one on birthing, those kind of things. And then she would put it out to all of us and she'd say, hey, would you like to write a chapter? So we're all like, yes, no, whatever resonated with us.
Right.
So I have 14 anthologies where I have a chapter or a page in them that have all hit #1.
Nice.
Some of them are ELIT, like they're award winners.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, that was great. And what else? So I started doing radio.
Okay.
So I was a radio show host. I had a co-partner, and we were talking about asking a question to change your life.
Right.
So we made a deck of cards. They were auctioned off. They're $4,000. It was for a nonprofit, that we were raising money for. And these things like really challenged belief systems.
Right.
So we were doing the radio for quite a while. And then it was like, we're not actually reaching the people that we needed to reach. Like,
Right.
not a big download. It was like, no, bigger. So I started a TV channel. So I have a global TV network
Mm-hmm.
called Unlocking Your Limitless Life, and it's Webby nominated.
Okay.
So we did that before COVID. So we had a director out of New York. He was an award-winning director. He would fly down. We would partner with realtors. This is like 2017, 2018, 2019,
Right.
before COVID happened. And we would partner with these realtors that were like, had real estates. Their homes were like $1 million homes.
Right.
So our director would go in with their realtor and would film the whole house. And then they would be on our live streaming platform. And they got more sales because back then the market was just different than it is now.
Oh, yes. Yes. Definitely.
And that's what was required.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a win for them and it was a win for us because my clients would come in and we'd do hair and makeup. We'd have a little fun and they would set up these different like little photo kind of studios,
right.
Different targeted places in the house or around the house that the owner really would like to feature.
Mm-hmm.
So we were selling homes like sight unseen, just by people watching the shows.
Right.
So it was a ton of fun. Webby nominated, COVID happened. My director couldn't get down out of New York.
Mm-hmm.
The real estate agent like, yeah, our homeowners don't want anyone in their homes. My clients were like, how are we going to film 6 feet apart wearing a mask? And I'm like, yeah, maybe this is done. Maybe we need to pivot.
Right.
So we pivoted. And so I've been doing podcasts and summits. I've been, working with people all around the world for quite a few years. And I'm a featured expert in the up and coming movie called The Pillars of Power.
Ooh.
Yeah, coming out soon. It's the 20-year anniversary of The Secret.
Ooh.
Is it 20 years or 10 years?
I think it's 20 years.
Yeah, it's 20 years.
Yeah.
So I'll be featured with Joe Vitale and Marie Diamond and some of the original cast members.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. So I'm working with the LA Tribune, the Los Angeles Tribune. That's what they have like $2 million earmarked for these projects.
Wow.
It's amazing. I got to interview the CEO, Mo Rock, and I'm just blown away. He is launching like 16 platforms all at the same time. Like there's going to be Dubai, New York, San Diego, like all around the world. And when I was talking with him, he said, especially the United States, but like humanity's lost faith in the media. The media has lied to us. The media has held things from us. The media is not our friend. And I'm here to win them back, to bring back the trust in what we're airing and what we're showing. And it was so interesting because that just struck me like, okay, wait a minute. Someone's actually acknowledging that we were lied to, that things were withheld from us. We're like, okay, this is real. This is getting real fast. Right? So of all the genres he could have chosen for his first movie, because he has a brand new movie division, because the LA Tribune was not movies before. He could have picked sci-fi, drama, horror, anime, like anything would have been more of a breadwinner, a money breadwinner.
Right.
Except he picks a documentary that's going to change lives. And I'm like, he's walking the walk and talking the talk.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Mo Rock is someone to definitely watch because he's also lobbying to put into as an act, it's the Dignity Act, where right now in the United States, when our kids are in foster care and they're going to another house or they're aging out of the program, they're given a trash bag in 15 minutes and they're told, go get your stuff.
Right.
And he knows, he has seen it. It just does something mentally, emotionally, psychologically to these kids with like, because we take the trash out, the trash is,
Right.
and they're getting connected with that. Like, I'm not worth anything. I'm smelly. I'm dirty. I'm old,
Exactly.
whatever it happens to be. And he said that he's looking to create it and make it a federal offense to do that to a child instead of we're going to give them a backpack and we're going to say, your day's coming.
Yeah.
Go ahead and collect your things, say your goodbyes, write a note, have a special, whatever needs
Right.
for them to be able to be into an.
Like if a regular kid was leaving their house to go to college,
Yep.
that is beautiful. That is changes completely the frequency.
It does.
Yeah.
Can you feel it? Like,
Yeah.
amazing. And then what now will be available to these kids now that that happens? Like the trauma isn't
Mhm.
induced in them. Like they're
Right.
trauma free from that. And hey, now,
Yeah, because they're already going through what their parents did to put them there,
yes,
and so they already have to deal with that. Then to deal with another rejection at a whole new other level. So that is
I've talked
awesome.
with
That's
them
awesome.
because I can go in to the
Mhm.
subconscious and eliminate this stuff. And I was like,
Right.
what would we be able to create if we supported these kids by doing that?
Mm-hmm.
He was just blown away. I said, and like all these people that are in these like networking groups and like masterminds, I'm like, what if we take all of those lies and stuff that they've bought, unconsciously from their parents and their life and society
Mm-hmm.
out? I go, how much more could they receive? I said, because their cup is full right now. I said, if
Mm-hmm.
we dump that cup out, I'm like, there's more space to invite in that which they
Mm-hmm.
need to have. Can
Yes.
you imagine, Glenda?
It's it really is like a dream come true that you could actually see that spark back in humanity. Oh,
That's where we're headed. Like that's my mission is
right,
creating a conscious education system to let's get these kids out of the box
right.
that the education system puts them in. Because when you think about it, everything is evolved, Glenda.
Mm-hmm.
Like transportation has evolved, communication has evolved, like the medical field's evolved, except we're still in our seats, raising our hands and waiting for the bell to ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something just, the box forgot to get checked for evolution, for education. Like
Yeah,
we missed it.
yeah.
That never got checked for us.
No, actually, it's in the last page, and they haven't even gotten to that page.
It's like in the footnotes at the bottom and really tiny.
It's not even. You need a magnifying glass. Oh yeah, we forgot this one.
I love it. Shout out to Bethany, who is in
Ah,
the chat, and Garnet. Hey,
yeah,
both of you. Garnet's
yes,
from England, London. Thank you for joining us.
yes. Thank you, and thank you, Bethany.
Bethany is apprenticing with me this year.
Oh, very good,
Yes,
very good.
she has some amazing information. I would love for her to be able to share it with you. So I will
Of
connect you,
course,
Glenda,
of course, of
with
course.
her. She has a transformation story and event
Ooh.
that will knock your socks off.
Cliffhanger. Now you guys have to watch every week.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do, because you never know when I'm going to have her.
That is true. That is true.
So
Yeah.
now, I know some of my audience would always like to know: do you prepare anything specific before you do a session or work with someone, or do you just like automatically like comes natural?
Yeah, most of my stuff is on autopilot.
Okay.
It's kind of like when you hit cruise control, when you just start cruising. Like
Right.
I've done so much so often that it's ready, set, go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the things that get done is I'm grid. I'm in a grid. My
Right.
client is in a grid. We're gridded
Mm-hmm.
off because we all come in contact with what I call people, pets, and problems.
Yes.
So I'm not here to facilitate other people or pets and everybody else.
Just problems.
Those are my 3 Ps.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah, I mean, it's the stuff that you would do so
Hmm.
you would have a direct connect.
Right, right.
Actually, I was invited by the Academy Awards last year to send a gift to the Oscar nominees.
Okay.
So I sent these amethyst pendulums. I think I have one around here. Yeah, here's one. Um, and I made a video on how to properly use a
Right,
pendulum
right,
because there's like 3 steps before you just start using it
right.
that
I
you need
know.
to do
Yeah,
in order to get clarity. So it's just your frequency
you're right.
and your
Exactly.
body that you're working with. Well, they loved it. They loved
You
it.
see? And you're
Yeah.
probably saying, "Oh, I don't know if somebody's gonna take this right." And all of a sudden it's a surprise, like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
Yeah, I
Yeah.
sent it out with, like, a free session with me to kinda, like, talk about it. I'll help you through it. We can work on it together, and
Right.
so I have some, like, movie stars and professional athletes that are clients.
Good, good. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. And then what a best present, really. Because that's
Gift
a
to
way to
another.
introduce themselves to their own energy
Yeah.
as well. So,
I think Gwyneth Paltrow actually started this.
oh,
So she had someone who could read energy on set with her,
oh,
like, every day.
okay.
And so that I think that's where the Academy Awards kinda got the
Right.
idea of, "Oh, let's introduce, like, energy
Hmm.
to the movies."
Right. Right.
And so
Oh,
that's how
wow.
we kinda, like, backdoored our way in, but yeah,
However it got there, right? It's
yes,
okay. It's
yes.
okay. So, um, people could just contact you at your website and they could
That's the
find
best place.
everything, best
Yes,
place, and find anything that they need there, right? Because if they even have a question, they could just contact you there, or
yes,
or send you an email, right?
yes.
Uh, so I'll put up the email address. Um, Now, for example, a person comes to you. Say I come to you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm actually going to open myself on live. Oh God, dear Lord. And you already see my people going, not that, not that, not that. Let's hide this. It's like,
I won't go there.
you will
I'm
go.
there, but I won't go there live. You're
Exactly.
safe. You're
Yes,
safe with me.
I know. That's why I said I'm opening up. So, a
If they
person,
only knew, Glenda. If they only knew and saw what we're seeing.
people, I didn't rob anything or anything like that. In that respect, I'm like Susan. I couldn't come up with anything either. So, but and of course, the person has to be open to you, right? Because you're reading them, and they have to kind of give you permission one way or another. Even if you see stuff, you can't really just tell them until that permission is given. And I because I have a lot of people that are afraid to be near me. And I just said to them, "Why are you afraid?" Oh, because you may get to things that I'm like, you know what? Whatever I get, I keep. I don't go around telling anybody.
It's
And
like you're not
but
gonna know all the secrets and where all the skeletons are hiding out.
and the funny part is that I always say, look, just because you slept with this person or that person or that person, so what? It's
You're divinely guided.
like you're divinely guided, and I have a very juicy story.
The Inquirer will be calling later.
Do you have any pictures? But no, seriously, like, all kidding aside, of course, the person has to be open to you, and to and give you permission to go in, because it's not that you cannot go in. Like I said, it's not that I can't go in, but I feel that that's like an invasion of privacy, kind of like that. That to me, I like the person to know that I'm going in, just like you, and I'm sure you do, in the whole thing. But
Yeah,
have
it's
you
a
ever?
universal law. Like you don't
Right.
mess. You don't mess with no, you don't. Yeah.
No, and no matter
No.
what galaxy, what dimension, whether
Exactly.
you're here or there or anywhere, wherever it is, that's the one thing that is across the board.
Yep. It's a
So
no-go zone.
no. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely. And it's one of those things that, parents really want you to like go help their children
right,
or, their boss or things like can't you just go in there and kind of do this thing? And I'm like, actually, no, I can't.
no,
You know, unless they would like to become a client of mine, then I can work with them.
right,
And I would get children on with their parents,
right.
and it would be empowering full circle.
Very good.
That's the only time I've ever agreed to do, something like that. But
Right.
the thing is, we're taught that they're smaller, they're younger, they
Younger.
don't get it, they don't understand. Look, they're an infinite being too.
Right. Right.
And you're an infinite being. Just because you've been here on the planet and you've been traumatized longer than that child, like, you know, give them, let them know that they're an infinite being. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like I'll ask my son-in-law, like, does that work for you? Yes or no? You know what I mean? Like, hello,
I know. It's like, come on.
there's no right or wrong. I'm like, and we would talk, like we'd be driving home from school one day, and this is how we learned about the fun factor. So have you heard about the fun factor between 8, 9, and 10? So if you're not having a fun factor of 8, 9, or 10, we would have to fix it. So we were driving home from school one day, and I'm like, hey, are you having any fun? Or how much fun do you have? And he goes, I'm not having very much fun at all. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to need to fix this. I go, what would be fun for us? He said, oh, let's swing into McDonald's and get an ice cream or like a sundae, a mini sundae.
Right.
You mean before dinner? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we like drove in and did it. And then I would tell you, one year, all of his Christmas presents, Glenda, came from family members that were out of town, out of state,
Right.
because they were all flying in and they didn't want to bring all these Christmas presents. So they sent him down, and he was a kid. I empowered him. So he would open the presents when the packages,
Right.
whatever was coming in the mail. So all of a sudden he couldn't open these packages, and he didn't understand why he couldn't open those packages. And I was like, oh, it's a surprise. Well, how long can you tell a child before they like go crazy? So it was that year where, when Christmas is like a Friday,
Yeah.
you get the whole week off of school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Oh, of course. Poor kid.
So you know what? We opened the packages.
Good.
And we opened all the presents. And we played with them for a whole week. And it was so much fun. I was willing to be the bad mom. Then we get close to Christmas, and like the first set of family members are coming in, Glenda. So I was like, his name's Nicholas. I found out on Thanksgiving I had conceived. He was my early Christmas present. So St. Nicholas, Santa Claus. So his name, he chose his name anyway. So he's Nicholas. So I said, Nicholas, now we're going to have to practice, because you know what the present is, but they don't know that you know what it is. So it's got to be a surprise. He's like, oh, yeah, right, Mom. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so let's practice our surprise look. So we sat there for like a whole day going, well, how surprised are you? He goes, I'm like, oh, that's a good one. I go, well, what about some sounds? He's like, ooh. I'm like, yeah. He goes, all right, you show me one, Mom. I'm like, ah! we practice these surprise expressions and facials and all this kind of stuff. And I wrapped up all their gifts. So they were under the tree. We were like, shh, don't tell anybody. So we pulled it off. No one knew. No one had a clue that we had done this. And it was like, he's graduating, and we're all at the graduation table. And I remember turning to him. We were all at dinner. I was like, did we ever tell them that you opened up all their presents before Christmas and played with them for a whole week. Like, I don't think so. I said, well, family, we have a little confession. Here's our list. We have a little confession to make. Remember that year when they were so amazed. I'm like, who does that? What mom does that?
You and I, one that just
Right?
whatever, just tons of fun.
Rule breaking. Yeah.
Yeah, a
I was
little
like,
bit. You kind of have to.
all right, like, what's more painful? Lying to my child for a whole week or lying to my family 10 years later? It's an instant no-brainer. We're gonna open the presents now. He's like, wow, these are really cool. I go, I know, but we can't say anything. We can't tell anybody. No one can know.
Oh, Lordy, Lordy.
Yeah.
So we're having so much fun that we're coming close to the end of the show already. You definitely have to come back, really. And maybe then we'll do a little mini healing. There you go, right?
Yeah.
So
we can do it at instantaneous.
There you go. Go ahead.
Do it now. So
go ahead.
What would you say is like the biggest problem you have, the greatest challenge, an issue, something that you struggle with?
Right now, tiredness. I'm always tired.
Fatigue?
Fatigue.
So do you muscle test? Do you use a pendulum, or do you already know the answer? You get the awareness?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So I'm going to say truth first. I've got your team here. You've shown me your lifeline. It has power. I've been hanging out with your lifeline. And we're going to ask you some questions, and you let us know what answers you get or what awarenesses you have. Okay. So I say truth, so that way we have to get the truth.
Right.
So truth, does your fatigue have to do with parasites?
No.
Truth, does your fatigue have to do with an imbalance in hormones?
I hear partial. Yes.
Okay, cool. So truth, is part of your fatigue a vitamin or mineral deficiency?
Partially. I'm taking care of that. So that's what they're saying, partially.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So truth, is part of your fatigue having to do with solar flares?
Yes.
Truth, is part of your fatigue part of your body turning to crystalline in the ascension process?
Yes.
Yeah. So everywhere you've deemed yourself wrong or not getting enough sleep or I'm not exercising or
exercise, what is that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's at the top of my list. Why isn't it on
yours? Oh, I have the booklet backwards. Sorry.
Inside out, upside down. So take a deep breath in, Glenda, because we're going to go ahead and delete any limitation that's been established around this, where you've been made right or wrong, good or bad, about sleep, minerals, exercise, fatigue. Out on 3, and it leaves 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, feeling that energy, feeling it. Yeah. Back of my neck. I'm feeling I always feel everything in back of my neck. So I'm feeling. Yes. Ooh, that was cool.
Time to go.
I'm leaving. Goodbye, guys. I'll see you in a few weeks when I'm back, when I can sleep again. Oh, Susan, thank you very much.
You're so welcome. It has been my honor. Thank you.
Thank you. And you definitely have to come back. And thank you to our audience. I know we went a little over, but you know what, guys? It's all worth it, right? It's all worth it. So as always, we send you blessings. We send you love. We love you. And happy early Mother's Day. Bye. And I can't get to the thing, but it's here.